Flipside by Bedhead. Chapter 3.
There's your cute corner. That's where the PE pie works.
Ditzy explained as he flew along.
Now the best muffins. You feeling hungry all of a sudden?
In the short time he had spent with Ditzy do, Spike had started to wonder a few things. Just what could that cutie mark of hers represent? What exactly was up with her eyes? And most importantly of all, just how in Tartarus did this pony manage to get lost in her own hometown? Dizzy claims she only had a few pickups to make. The mailing of his poor sense of direction had resulted in Spike getting a grand tour of Ponyville. Now the trio was passing by a gingerbread house that was apparently the town bakery, and Spike couldn't help but notice the longing look Ditzy was giving at it. "Well, the town is nice and all, Ditzy," Spike chimed in, leaving a huff at the mailman to get her attention. "But I really need to get this article written, so if you could—"
"Right! Town hall!"
Ditzy interrupted, pointing towards a side street.
"Right this way! Last stop on my route."
"You sure this time?" Spike muttered as the gray Pegasus flew off. He winced as Twilight rapped the back of his head with her notepad.
"Be nice, mister. She didn't need to take the time to show us around, you know."
"She also didn't need to help me clean that cake off," Spike pointed out, his magic re-straightening the quill in his headband for the third time. "That rainwater was freezing, by the way!"
"She's trying to be helpful," Twilight argued. "Besides, you're already dry."
"Mostly, yeah." Spike let out a frustrated sigh. "If we use too much more of Ditzy's help, though, this article's just going to be about her mail route." Coming around the corner, though, Spike was met with a pleasant surprise. A tall, official-looking building that looked almost like one of the spires of the royal castle. Yet the spires were made of plain wood rather than meticulously polished marble.
"Here it is!"
Ditzy cheered from her place overhead.
"We're going to be holding a big party there tonight and everything."
"Well, it looks nice." Spike managed to compliment as Twilight's camera clicked away. "Little underdecorated, though, isn't it?"
"Prose!"
Twilight hissed.
"Oh, we got the best pony for the job handling decorations."
Ditzy assured her companions as they approached the building. Her all-eyed gaze drifted back the way they came. Somehow, the smile on her muzzle got even bigger.
"Oh, here she comes now. Hi, Mary!"
Ditzy greeted, waving at whoever was approaching.
"Why, hello, Ditzy!"
Greeted a new voice. Spike started to turn, stopped awkwardly halfway, and stumbled to regain his balance. Twilight yelled in surprise and fell from his back during the little dance, the camera flashing as he hit the ground. Coming down the street was a stunning unicorn mare, one that Spike's eyes couldn't leave. Her pure white coat and rich purple mane seemed to sparkle in the sunlight as he tried it up. Spike felt a claw hand reach up and close his jaw, which he hadn't even realized was hanging open. The new mare had a quizzical look as he sniffed the air. "Yes! Spirity, here we come!"
"Does anybody else smell the cake?"
she asked. Spike mentally cursed, one hoof running through his short mane in a search for offending blobs. Dizzy giggled as he flipped her own mane a bit, a few more specks of batter flying out.
"Sorry, that's me," the Pegasus explained. "Vicky had a little accident with her welcome wagon earlier." "Oh, I've always worried something like this would happen with those gadgets of hers,"
Meredith said, before she turned to Spike.
"Oh, get rid of me. I haven't introduced myself here, and here I am chattering away."
She offered a perfectly polished hoof to Spike, with a flare of her eyeglasses.
"I'm a rarity," she said. "And to whom do I owe the pleasure?"
The stallion was already picturing in his head. He reached in and cupped her hoof in his, placing a gentle kiss on it as he introduced himself.
"Oh yeah, this is Purple Prose and his friend Twilight,"
Ditzy cut in, Spike's plans shattering.
"You're here for Canterlot to do a report on the party. Isn't that exciting?" "Oh, from Canterlot, you say?"
Reddy asked, her eyes now locked on Spike. "Oh, Spike could feel his mind suddenly blank, now that the mare was attracted to him. Yes, I mean, I am! We are!" He mentally face-hugged, as he pulling his hat down over his face to hide his blush. Twilight sighed as he brushed the last of the road dust from her scales and cleared her throat.
"We're reporting for the Canterlot Sun, a Ponyville Summer Sun celebration,"
Twilight explained on Spike's behalf, holding up her notepad camera. "We were actually on our way to interview the mayor." "But I'm sure they can wait," Spike cut in, his magic yanking Twilight away by her tail. So, Dizzy said you're handling the decorations for the party. Dizzy had a big smile on her face as he watched the two get acquainted. Twilight rolled her eyes as her partner managed to find his nerve again. The dreamy look in his eyes made it all too clear what Spike really had on his mind as he spoke to Rarity.
Yes, and all of them are hostess at my own carousel boutique,
Rarity answered, fluttering her heavily lashed eyes at Spike.
Just wait until you see them. They're quite breathtaking, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, Spike agreed, a dopey grin on his face. Twilight sighed, built one of her claws against his test scales. She delivered a quick jab to Spike right below his cutie mark, whistling a yelp of surprise from the love-struck stallion. Right, there he is! He tried to recover, seeing the look his assistant was giving him. Twilight nodded in approval. Any chance you'd be available for one? He went on, eyes going back to Rarity. Twilight's palm made a very impressive noise as it clouded with her face. Rarity just gave the reporter a smile and gratefully brushed past him.
Why, I'd be honored, Mr. Prose. Unfortunately, it's already near end.
The right unicorn was cut off by a loud gasp.
Noon! Oh my gosh!
Dizzy rushed into town hall in a blur of gray. Just as quickly as he burst out of the building and took out the sky.
I'm going to be late picking up my muffin for daycare. Sorry, Mr. Prose. Sorry, Twilight. It was nice meeting you both.
Just like that, the mailman was gone. The other three looked at one another, confusion apparent on their faces. Rarity managed an awkward smile at the two reporters.
As I was saying,
she went on, trying to brush off Dizzy's departure,
I have so much to do to prepare for the celebration tonight. I simply don't have time for an interview right now.
Oh, Spike seemed dutifully at that, while Twilight jumped onto his back.
Of course. I should be able to make some time after the sun rising.
Rarity cast him a wink.
If you'd still be interested.
Spike did his best to ignore Twilight burying her face in his mane as his own split into a wide grin. Sure, that sounds perfect, he agreed.
It's a date then,
Rarity said as she pulled her wagon through the doors of town hall.
I look forward to seeing you and your cute little sister at the party, Mr. Prose.
Spike's eyes stayed glued on the white mare as he headed inside, doors closing behind her. He let out a dreamy sigh once he was out of earshot.
Well, at least we have one interview scheduled,
Twilight admitted.
She said it's a date!
Spike agreed, eyes drooping over his green eyes as the dopey grin came over him again.
Prose, you...
Twilight was cut off by another sigh, to which she rolled her eyes in response. Yes, she did.
Maybe we should focus on why we're here until then? Huh?
Spike snapped out of his fantasy about the interview at Twilight's words. The mayor? She admonished.
That ring any bells?
Oh, right, I did forget. Spike tried to cover as he started for the door. Hey, is my main straight? Rarity ran in there and... You look fine, Romeo, Twilight answered with a chuckle.
Now can you please focus?
Right, totally professional, the stallion nodded, heading inside. Rarity was hard at work already. Her light blue magic levitating colorful drapes and elaborate tapestries around the room. Spike eyes lingered on her until Twilight jerked his head toward a nearby directory. Mayor's office is this way, lover boy, she said.
Don't make me get out the blinders.
Reluctantly, the purple stallion headed toward the stairs and left Rarity to her work. A door waited at the top of the stairs, simply marked Office of Mayor in bold letters. Now that Rarity was no longer in sight in front of him, Spike found it remarkably easier to concentrate. He put on his best smile before rapping on the door with one hoof. Come in, came the cheerful voice of a stallion from within. The two reporters exchanged confused glances. It was clear they both expected a female voice from the name on the door. The door opened to Spike's magic, revealing a room that caused Twilight's eyes to widen in shock. Everything was perfectly organized. Portraits, photographs of the town, various buildings that the two had passed by lined the walls. Each one showed parts of the town in different time periods. Each was perfectly aligned and dusted. Oh look, there's even a picture of the old mill. The rug sat in the exact center of the room. The curtains were drawn perfectly symmetrical. Even the wide papers in the basket performed a night file. Capping off the display of organized digital talents was the mahogany desk at the far end of the room. Two small towers of paper sat on either end. Visible between them was a light brown earth stallion with a darker brown mane. "Oh, you!" the pony said, giving them a smile before snatching at the paper sitting in front of him. You're not on the schedule for today." I guess not," Spike said, unsure whether to apologize. "I'm Purple Prose for the Canterlot Sun. Would you be Mayor? "Molly?" The stallion laughed a bit. "Oh, no. I'm simply handling some of the extra paperwork that's been piling up." He walked around the desk, giving both of his guests a clear look at the hourglass cutie mark he sported. "The name's Time Turner," he introduced himself, holding out one hoof. "I'm the mayor's assistant, timekeeper, and managing of all things timey-wimey." "Timey-wimey?" Spike gasped, accepting the shake. "Yes, indeed," he confirmed, missing the confusion on the other stallion's face. "I handle every timepiece in town, from the ones in this room to the clock tower in the park." "Ooh, we passed that lady on the way here," Twilight chimed in, tail wagging. "I was so impressed with how accurate it was. Even the ones at Canterlot are off by a few seconds from the royal sundial." Spike remembered that clock tower. More specifically, he remembered Dizzy passed it 3 times while showing them around. He also noticed Time Turner actually seemed to be blushing a bit at the purple dragon's words. "Ah, you flatter me." Your pony chuckled. "On you would be."
"Oh, I'm Twilight,"
the dragon answered. "I'm Prose's official assistant."
"Well,
"It's wonderful to meet you," the pony said, grinning broadly to reporters. "Sit. How can I help you and Mr. Prose today?" Spike smiled. It seemed things were finally going right since he arrived at the train station. "Well, you see, we're covering Ponyville's Summer Sun celebration," Spike explained in as professional a voice he could muster. "We were hoping to ask the mayor a few questions for the article." Time Turner's smile faded quickly. He could this time, heading back to the desk with a sullen sink in his head. "Oh dear," he muttered, taking a seat and pulling a paper off the top of one of the desks. "I'm afraid I won't be able to help you there." "What?" Spike bit back on his lip, reminding himself not to raise his voice again. "I mean, why not?" "My mass schedule is just far too busy today," Time Turner answered. "There's a lot of preparation work that needs to be doing before the princess arrives, after all." He held up another sheet of paper, showing it to be a rather complicated-looking timetable. Twilight's eyes seemed to sparkle as she stared at the sheet, every box filled in with tiny writing. "There's barely any time for lunch on there as it is," Time Turner said, apologetically, as he put his paper back down. "I can't tell you how long it took me to get it so she actually had time to do everything either." "Can't you just squeeze us in there somewhere on the end?" Spike asked hopefully. Time Turner gawked at the purple unicorn, like he had just spiked it in tongues. Spike looked at his assistant, only to see Twilight had her arms crossed. She was tapping one foot as he glared at him. "What?" "Sorry about him," Twilight said to the Earth Pony. "He has no idea how important a good schedule can be." "Hey!" Spike protested. Much to his surprise, Time Turner actually started laughing. The stallion got back up and wrestled Twilight's spines playfully. "You'd think I'd be used to the type," he said, still laughing all the while, "especially with our weather monitor." Spike rolled his eyes, Magic tucking at his hat as he tried to shut out the laughter and think of a way around their newest problem. Time Turner cleared his throat as he managed to work his way down to a few light giggles. "So sorry, Mr. Prose," he said, covering his mouth to hide a smile. "I wish I could help, but the mayor is booked absolutely solid until the end of the festival." "There has to be somebody I can interview about this," Spike said. "It's important for the article. Maybe there's a town council." "No, Vice Mayor Ivory Skull is already handling the other jobs Mayor Mare couldn't fit in her own schedule," Time Turner interrupted. "And Judge O'Goffle is out in Manhattan visiting her mother. Poor dear, took very unfortunate." Spike could feel the stress his Magic was putting on his hat, and he didn't care. Even though he could tell at the current rate, it would probably tear sooner or later. "How about you, Mr. Time Turner?" Twilight suggested, sparing the chapeau from an early end. "Me?" the stallion prepared. "Yes," Twilight said as he held to the schedule. "We've got a lunch break coming up, and it looks like maybe we could get you an interview over that." Spike's jaw was hanging slack, as Time Turner run one hoof against his chin. "Well, I don't see why not," he admitted. "There's a nice little cafe I like to go to, actually." "That," Spike cleared his throat, trying to regain his professional demeanor. Sounds great!
Wonderful, then, Time Turner responded as he headed for the door. Oh, and I hold on to that assistant of yours, Mr. Prose.
She knows what she's doing. Shall we?
Right behind you,
Spike confirmed as Twilight climbed onto his back. He let the Earth Pony leave before following behind. Spike turned his head back to Twilight's smiling face.
What would you do without me?
She said.
You're the best, Twilight,
Spike said, nuzzling her a little.
Whatever you want for lunch, it's on me.
You sure you want to say that? Twilight asked. I mean, with the luck you're having today. The two trailed off into laughter as they followed a, somewhat confused, Time Turner out of Town Hall. Chapter 4. Lunchtime was a surprisingly simple affair at Canterlot Castle. Celestia sat at the head of the grand dining table, her meal before her. Much to the head cook's surprise, the princess had only requested a simple salad and a kettle of tea today. Anything would have been fine, really. This was a day to savor the little things in life. Not even her petty nephew Blueblood was going to get her down. Even if she had insisted on joining her for once, the ivory-white stallion was seated just to her left. Not a single lock of his blonde mane was out of place as he looked at the lavish meal he ordered for himself.
Really, Auntie? Ponyville?
Blueblood asked, for what Celestia counted as the 50th time.
Don't you think this honor would be more fitting for Canterlot?
Celestia simply lowered her fork. The haughty prince had been acting like this ever since the location of the festival had been announced.
Nurse, you've asked the staff to not insist,
he went on, trying not to sound like he was lying.
Do you not trust them anymore?
Of course I do, Blueblood, Celestia answered, looking honestly hurt at the suggestion. What about the citizens of Ponyville? The ivory stallion seemed off guard as his fork slipped from the telekinesis back into his plate.
Excuse me,
he asked. Don't they deserve as much trust? Celestia asked. Her rosy eyes focused slowly on her nephew. I've never visited a town or city to fail to impress on the Summer Sun celebration. I have every confidence that Ponyville will be no different. Blueblood's mouth opened to reply, but just as swiftly snapped shut. His honest love for every pony was well known, after all. Of course, Celestia continued as she took a sip of tea. You're more than welcome to join me. Perhaps you'd be surprised by how fun common ponies can be. The prince bit his lip as the way Celestia stressed common. It was clear from the look on his face he hadn't expected the princess to know of his opinions on that matter.
I'm afraid not, Auntie,
Blueblood answered, and so shuffling as she sipped more tea.
The castle staff is still putting in so much work for our celebration. It would be a shame to let it go to waste.
Celestia just smiled, having heard exactly the answer she expected. Insufferable as he could be, Blueblood didn't deserve to be caught up in what was to come. The only thing left to do was hope the coming danger felt the same as her nephew. That Ponyville would be too small to bother with when she returned.
I'm certain Cadence would enjoy herself, though,
Blueblood said, irreversibly stopping Celestia's heart for a moment. Excuse me? She managed to ask, teacup rattling in magic.
Oh dear, I didn't mean to let that slip,
he answered with the fakest regret Celestia ever heard.
She so wanted to surprise you by showing up at the festival tonight. She just wouldn't stop talking about it. It
was clear from his tone that the prince was taking some meaningless jab at Cadence for all the talking. For a moment, Celestia wondered what possessed her niece to confide the plan with him. What quickly took precedence, though, was what this meant. Cadence would be there when Nightmare Moon returned. Royalty were far from the only ponies that needed to eat. At the moment, two of the more common ponies and a baby dragon were doing just that. Several other ponies were passing by the open-air cafe, rushing about to prepare for the festival. Not that this seemed to be noticed by Time Turner or his two guests. The Earth Pony had a big smile on his face as he pushed aside his empty place. So, thanks to the business flooding in from the Sap Apples were discovered, Ponyville flourished, he explained as he placed a few bits on the table. From there, our little village grew into what it was today. Fascinating, Twilight breathed. Notebook clutched attentively in her claws. This'll be great for the article, right, Prose? She turned to the unicorn. The smile on her face quickly wiped out. Spike's notepad and quill hovered in front of his face still, but his eyes had drifted shut. The quill still worked, dutifully recording everything being said, thanks to the come to life spell placed on it. With Time Turner distracted, stacking up their plates for the waitress, Twilight's claw stuck out again. Spike woke to a snarled yelp. His quill and pad was clattering to the table as the spell on them fizzled out. He looked around in confusion, only to cringe as he spotted the glare Twilight was giving him. "Something wrong?" Time Turner asked, giving the unicorn a worried look. "No," Spike lied, trying not to wince from the pain in his flank. "So, He quickly flipped through the notes his enchanted quill had taken. His eyes went wide as he saw how much had been written down. "This place has quite a history, huh?" he wondered aloud, listening a chuckle from the brown pony. "Indeed," he responded, looking up as the bell tolled in the distance. "Dear me, it's not the clock tower. Apologies, it seems I've plodded on a little bit longer than I meant to." "It's all right," Twilight said, before Spike could comment. "It was really interesting." Oh yeah," Spike agreed, nodding quickly. "Of course, if you had time for a few more questions." "I did it, Miss, I did." Time Turner apologized with a shake of his head. "Unfortunately, duty calls. I need to get back to town hall to set up the food arriving." He trailed off as he turned around, though, before letting out an amused laugh. Spike and Twilight both looked at one another confused. "Something up?" Spike asked. "Does that surrender victory?" Time Turner answered, glancing down the street. "Take a look." Coming down at the cafe was a pair of earth ponies. One was an orange mare in a large Stetson hat. The second was the one that drew Spike's eye, though. A huge bright red stallion nearly twice the unicorn's size. A hefty yoke hung around his neck, hitched to a large cart that pulled along with ease. "Well, howdy there, Time Turner," the mayor said, waving one hoof as the duo walked up. "Where did he say we might follow you here?" "That you have wonderful timing," the aide responded, turning to Spike. "Ah, yes, Mr. Prose. Allow me to introduce the current proprietors of Sweet Apple Acres. This is Applejack and her older brother, Big Macintosh." "Pleased to meet you," Spike said, wondering just why the name sounded familiar. For the third time that day, he found his hoof pulled into a seeming enthusiastic handshake. "Likewise, Prose," Applejack said, as he released the stallion's no leg. "I ain't afraid of territories, it's afraid of mine. What brings you out to Ponyville today?" "We're doing a report on the summer sun celebration," Spike answered, attempting to shake some of the feeling back into his hoof. "You guys really own Sweet Apple Acres?" Twilight asked. "The same Sweet Apple Acres that Ponyville was founded around?" "Sure soon," Applejack answered. "The farm's been in our family since Granny Smith was a villain. Ain't that right, Big Mike?" "Yup," the stallion answered, with a slow nod of his orange-veined head. "I was just actually finishing educating the two of them on the apple family's role in our town's founding," Time Turner said proudly. Spike glanced over his notes again, noting the pages that were written down. He quickly closed the notes, but already Twilight was rolling her eyes at the sight. He must have heard to keep quiet, and that none of the others seemed to notice. "Miss Applejack's founding is actually providing the food for tonight's party," Time Turner continued, nodding to the mayor. "I was just about to head off to meet you all to get it set up." "Oh, you ain't got nothing to worry about," Applejack assured the stallion, with a casual wave of her hoof.
"Yeah!"
A voice chimed in from the cart Big Mac was pulling.
"We already got everything I love for you."
A yellow filly with a large bow in her head popped up from behind the cart. She had a smile on her face as she looked down at the other ponies from her seat. "I have a blame." Applejack seemed confused as she tilted her head at the filly. "I thought you would take a nap. We've all been working awful hard today, after all."
"I'll chair of welcoming up,"
the little foal said as he climbed out of the cart and slid onto Big Mac's back.
"Besides, I want to meet these new ponies too."
Appleblom. Time Turner had an anxious look on his face. "Did you say you and your siblings already doffed off the food?"
"Yep,"
responded Philly, causing the brown stallion to shuffle his hoofs. "Oh dear, I wanted to get it all arranged perfectly early," he fretted, starting down the street. "I better go check on it just to be sure! Down there, hold out!" Applejack called after him, only for him to take off galloping. I'll swear that stallion gets himself worked up over the smell of slangs. Spike couldn't help it, as a chuckle slid from his muzzle. Applejack turned toward him as the noise as he covered his muzzle. "So, anyway," he tried to cover, as he wrapping around his pad and quill again. Time Turner said you were in charge of the food, right? Any chance you have time for a few words for my article?
Well, I'll be honored, Applejack responded, jerking her head down the street. But I think I better catch up with Time Turner, show him everything's all right first.
So he gave Big Mac a pound on the shoulder, causing the large stallion to look at her curiously.
If you only need a few words, though,
Now here's the stallion,
she said before chasing after Time Turner.
I'll be right back!
The red pony opened his mouth, possibly to protest, but the words didn't come fast enough,
and Applejack was already out of earshot, and Apple Bloom was bouncing on his back.
Oh, are we going to interview him for the paper? She cheered, hopping to the ground. This is going to be so great. I ain't a Big Mac.
Yep.
He answered with a slow nod of his head. Flashes of light drew their attention, both of them blinking away spots. Twilight slightly lowered her camera as the farm pony slid there.
Oh, sorry, she apologized. I thought we might need a picture for the article. I should have asked first.
Big Mac rolled one hoof against his front leg. To Spike, the giant stallion almost seemed embarrassed. A notion he shook away. Come on, don't let a big guy like you is afraid of a few photos. Spike encouraged, as a spell sparked around his quill, which immediately began to move with a life of his own. Now then, let's get started. You and your sisters must be really excited about providing food for such a huge event.
Yep.
Big Mac answered simply. Another nod of his head. There was silence for a moment. Aside from the quill scratching out a single word answer. Spike heard small holes clomping on the street, as Big Mac gave them a sleepy smile. Okay, he said, raising one eyebrow, as he flipped through the notes for Time Turner. So, according to Time Turner, it was actually Princess Celestia that gave the Apple family rights to settle here. He double-checked to make sure he read that correctly. Then suddenly found himself wishing he paid more careful attention to the history lesson. So, any thoughts about that? He asked, trying to cover his pause. This seems like it'll be a great chance to sell the princess. How far your farm's come?
Yup.
Big Mac answered again, causing Spike to let out a sigh. Can you say anything other than that? The unicorn asked, trying to surmount his mounting frustration. Big Mac bent down his lip before answering.
Yup.
There was a clunk, and Spike's hoof met his face. He tried very hard not to think about how much he had been doing that lately.
Big Mac's a little shy around the opponents.
Apple Blue's voice chimed in. Spike raised his eyebrow in disbelief as he looked at the red stallion. Big Macintosh scraped one hoof against the ground before nodding confirmation. Right then, Spike said, with a frustrated sigh as he put the writing implements back. Well, Applejack says he'd be back soon.
Prose?
Twilight's voice suddenly broke in.
A little help?
The two stallions looked down to see the dragoness backed up against the table. Apple Bloom was pacing around her, orange eyes showing intense focus.
Apple Bloom.
Big Mac said, one massive hoof gently hurrying his sister to his side.
It's rude to stare.
Spike bit down on his tongue as the subject of his interview finally spoke up.
Sarah,
Apple Bloom apologized before pointing to the purple reptile.
I've never seen a pony before like her before.
That's because I'm not a pony, Twilight explained, crossing her arms. I'm a dragon.
A real dragon?
Apple Bloom gasped at the revelation.
A full-blown, jewel-horned, fire-breathing dragon?
Twilight picked at her clouds awkwardly, till Apple Bloom's face split into a wide grin.
Cool!
She cheered, jumping at the dragoness. Twilight stumbled back. Banging against the tables, she found herself face to face with the filly again.
Oh, are they allowing you up there at Canterlot?
Apple Bloom asked eagerly.
Yes, you get to be working with Mr. Prose.
Spike put a hoof over his mouth, to keep from chuckling at the sight. His own troubles were suddenly fading in the light of the new development. Twilight was actually stunned. She's just friendly with everybody? Spike asked the other stallion.
Yup.
Big Mac responded, pulling the foal back again.
Apple Bloom, I'll think you're scaring her.
You okay, Twilight? Spike asked, nudging the dragoness with one hoof. Twilight just nodded and was taking a deep breath. Dang, name it! All 8 eyes shot down the street, spotting Applejack coming toward them. She galloped right to her siblings with an anger gleam in her eyes. Hello, you two! She said to her siblings. We gotta get back to the farm, pronto! What's wrong? Big Mac asked.
Yeah, Apple Bloom chimed in. We got all the food signed up.
Town Tyler says it ain't enough, Applejack explained, giving a frustrated stumble huff. Said he wanted extra portions of everything to make sure there be enough for the princess. That means we gotta head back and get cooking, literally. Wait! Spike exclaimed, raising up to stop her. What about the interview? I'm awful sorry, Prose, Applejack apologized. It's just gonna have to wait for now. Big Mac, I can count on you to make another trip, right? Of course you can, her brother said, with a solemn nod before gesturing to Apple Bloom.
We probably won't have plenty of time to talk at the party, the yellow filly says he bounded back into the cart. Oh, hi! Why don't you all go talk to Miss Flipside in the meantime?
Fluttershy? Twilight asked, relieved she was no longer pinned by the little pony.
Good old damn Blue,
Applejack said with a nod. Fluttershy lives at the cottage at the edge of town, so he's handling entertainment for the party tonight. Well, that's something at least, Spike admitted, his head still lowering a bit.
Gotta warn you, though,
Apple Bloom added.
she's even quieter than Mad Clayer.
Spike could feel his brain imploding, trying to wrap itself around the idea. Big Mac himself seemed to blush a little, though it was harder to tell under its coat. Sorry, it wasn't more help, he managed to say to reporters. Spike just waved one hoof dismissively. Mac hesitated for a moment, but Applejack let out a shrill whistle. Come on, he encouraged. Tanner's got us on the clock now. The farmer started back down on the road, leaving Spike and Twilight to watch the retreating, apple-marked flanks. Apple had shoved back from the seat of the cart, leaving her hoof at the duo.
See y'all at the party,
he called as their siblings raced off. Spike and Twilight both waved until the three were out of sight. The purple unicorn let out a groan and rubbed his head with one hoof. Great, he grumbled. That makes strike 2 for interview so far. He went to his assistant, only to find she was rubbing her own head. Apple Bloom a little too much for you? He guessed, trying to suppress a grin.
It's not funny,
Twilight retorted, as he clambered onto his back.
That filly has no concept of personal space.
Oh, come on, Twi, Spike said with a chuckle, as he started down the road. Here I was thinking you were finally going to make a new friend. Prose! Twilight moaned, tugging his mane. Well, I'm sure you'll see her tonight. He went on as he went down the street. Now let's see. Drat. Applejack didn't say you was out of town, did she? Twilight's claw suddenly tapped to the head, pointing down a nearby street. Spike gave a confused glance, as she just rolled her eyes in response.
Some of us were paying attention to Time Turner earlier,
she explained, crossing her arms. Seriously, that's supposed to be part of a reporter's job. That's why I'm glad I have you to cover for me, Spike joked as he started along. Let's just hope we can get something useful out of this Fluttershy pony. He took off galloping, Twilight clinging to his back. The sun still crawled across the afternoon sky. Less than half a day remained in its final trip.